Well, good afternoon. It's Longhaultanker, straight razor shaving with Longhaultanker, and today is Thursday, the 9th of November, 2023, at approximately 16:15, 16:20 Central Time, and I'm coming to you from the Love's Truck Stop at Alma, Texas, which is about 50 miles south of Dallas on I-45. And so you can look on a map and see where I'm at and trace me out. Short day today, but before I get into all of that, I've got 48 hours of whiskers on my face. Let me introduce the equipment and then we'll go on to yammering. I'm using, they're all my favorites, what can I say? A Backal razor. What's that say on there? Original, something in German. That's an 8/8 razor, round point, plain spine on it, standard width, nothing extraordinary about this except it's an 8/8. It's got a nice little shoulder on it. Soligen, that right side up, no. Soligen. All right, set that aside. For the soap, this week we're using the Cella, red Cella. Delightful soap, not a thing in the world wrong with it. And it's a very commonplace, it's inexpensive, and it lathers delightfully and has a terrific fragrance to it. And we're using the QED Select Manchurian Silvertip Badger 24 millimeter, just an extraordinary, this whole line of brushes, Manchurian Silvertip Badger QED Select is just extraordinary, super silky soft, but yet with enough backbone to stand up under lathering, and it's not so densely packed that it inhibits flow through. To the contrary, it's very nice. All right, so there's that. Let's get going on the lathering. Now, so I'm about 3.5 hours from the terminal yard in Houston. I've driven from Houston, Texas to Fernley, Nevada, and back again. My route took me up through Dallas, up through Oklahoma City, up through Wichita, Kansas, picked up US 81 out of Wichita, went straight north to York, Nebraska, turned left on Interstate 80, and Interstate 80 all the way through Wyoming, Nebraska, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, to Fernley. Fernley is about 50 miles to the east of Reno. So it was a good long trip. It was just a little over 2,000 miles. And so I left 2 hours and 45 minutes on my drive clock today because I stopped here because it's convenient and nice. It's a nice Love's Truck Stop. Never had any problems here before. Which is just to say that there's always the first time. But the thing to talk about today is the hours of service. I did not have enough hours to get all the way back to the terminal yard today. Today is day number 8 on the road. And according to DOT hours of service regulations, for interstate commerce, you have you're allowed 70 hours in 8 days before you have to either stop and do a 34-hour restart, or you start doing what they call rolling hours, where whatever hours you used 8 days ago, which that's the day I left Houston to leave, and I drove from Houston to McPherson, Kansas, 10 hours and 51 minutes. That's what I pick up tonight at midnight, 10 hours and 51 minutes, which is fine. Stop here, do a shower and shave, and record. I have no, this is the thing. And the only reason I'm recording today, same reason I recorded last Sunday, today's Thursday, Tuesday. Why did I record on Tuesday? Where was I? Something, I don't know. Anyway, I've got hours. I've got lots of time today. I got in here about 2 o'clock. I got all night. I'll sleep in the morning. Why, you might ask? Because I want to. I'm under no obligation to get back in a hurry. I spoke with my dispatch manager when I got stopped and told her what my plans were. She said, that's fine, we'll see you tomorrow. And we're slow anyway, right? Everybody's slow. Everybody is so slow. So I am, according to the DOT hours of service, the procedure I am now following is what's called recapping hours. And if you were to look at an old-fashioned paper log, you would see a recapping chart that you got to fill out for every day's number of hours that you drove. All right, that's looking real good. I've had some real nice comments on the videos that I've done this week, and I appreciate that. Let me shout out a few guys, Dapper, Jock at Dapper Shaves, and Martin at Martin Test Shaves. I got a nice phone call yesterday from Bill M. We're going to continue our conversation tomorrow morning, driving into Houston, and then Lukey3262, also known as Matt on YouTube. He's known as Lukey3262 on YouTube, but his name is Matt. Like my name's Leon, but I like being called Longhaultanker. Yeah, that's my persona, man. That's my persona. I mean, it's just a novelty is all it is. I mean, I'm a truck driver on the road. I pull a tanker. I pull hazmat chemicals from place to place. And that's what I did. But I wasn't always a truck driver. All right. Shall we play a game? I've had this razor since 2017, if not before. Honed it up. It's a beautiful razor. Shaves great, but I don't remember if it was shaved up on an Arkansas, synthetic, Coticule, or Zulu gray. So we got 4 choices there. And even amongst Arkansas, we got 3 choices, the hard black, translucent, and the true hard, but that don't matter because they all 3 of those get off the same kind of edge. But Name that edge. Now, another word for whiskers being bristly. I was trying to think of this word the other day, and that's what came out was bristly. I'm going to quote Gene Hackman in The Replacement. Watery, watery, wiry. These first strokes have just been fabulous. They've been smooth, and I'm almost tempted to call it right now for Coticule. I'm going to try and make a little bit of a case for natural stone edges. There's nothing more fascinating to me than the history, tradition, and nostalgia that connects with the straight razors. And I often think to myself, what did our forefathers use at the turn of the 1900s and before? What did the old barbers use in the late 1800s? And of course, I've read accounts where there'd be a traveling vendor, knife sharpener, and he was well acquainted with how to hone and sharpen razors. And I'm not certain of the date of introduction for the Arkansas in America. And in Europe, I have no idea. Eschers, what's that? And I realize that's a brand name, but the stone that it represents, I forget the name of it right now. I may think of it. And I understand there were some other forms of honing razors in Europe. Water something or lake something. Of course, the Coticule has been around since, as I understand it, days of the Romans. And so that nostalgia for natural stones, being able to take a piece of rock out of the ground and take a piece of steel and fashion it, and flatten the stone and shape it, and then hone up a razor on it capable of shaving is fascinating to me. And to make it so good that you can get a very clean, smooth shave. That is surely a Coticule. As smooth as that is, surely. No, not surely, surely. I remember in my early days when I was reading on the forums and listening to all the videos, which I still watch a lot of the videos, and some of them I watch over and over and over again over the years, that are impactful to me, that were, but anyway, what really struck me was the nostalgia of, and that's why I think a lot of us come to straight razor shaving, is the nostalgia. It's not just that we save money over cartridge razors. That would be a kind of superficial, important as a beginning, initial reason. fantastic. Now, we all know the reliability of synthetic stones. Whatever brand you're using, it's like a guy I was listening to yesterday, and I believe it was Martin, is that if you drop a synthetic, you go out and buy a replacement, it's going to be exactly like the one you dropped and broke. No, it was Devin Jackson that said that. And he does good videos. But anyway, one thing I'll say about the natural stones that I'm acquainted with, Coticule, Arkansas, and particularly about the Arkansas, they are much more reliable than what I think some people give them credit for. Now, I can understand, I've heard many a story about coticles, that they're from one stone to another, they're just not as reliable. Consistent might be another good word. And I can't speak to that. I've got two coticles, one I use more than the other, my A and B. And I know my A a whole lot better than I do my B, but every time I've used my B stone, I've gotten good edges off of it. And my B stone, it's kind of a funny story. I picked it up. I was on a video call with the vendor, and we were talking about things. John Crowley, some of you might remember John Crowley. I don't know where he's at. He disappeared. I think he passed away. I'm not sure. He had a razor store in the Dallas area, Dallas-Fort Worth area. And so we're on this video call talking about razor stuff, and I see this coticule sitting up behind him, and I already had my A stone, and I said, "Is that a coticule sitting up on the shelf behind you?" And he turned around and looked, and he said, "Yeah, that's a coticule." I said, "Do you use it? Is that one of your standard stones?" He said, "No." I said, "Would you be willing to sell it?" He said, "Yeah." And so he sold it to me, and I bought it. But as I say, I haven't used it as much as I would like. But those two stones have just been top notch for me. I have never had any problem with the consistency, even though I don't use the second one as much as I do the first one. And I can't think of any razor I've got right now that's honed up on my B stone. But I've heard stories that coticles can be inconsistent, that you can get a hold of a dud, and quite honestly, I would like to try somebody's dud. I think Dr. Matt did something like that for somebody, and actually turned out to be a pretty good stone. Somebody said it was a dud. Dr. Matt said, "Send it to me." The guy did. But as I say, some people say they have problems with coticles. But there's nothing like the love a little too much in the mouth. Satisfaction would be a better word than love. There's nothing like the satisfaction that comes from honing your own razors, particularly on natural stones, and getting a shave as good as this one. It's been, what, 15 to 23, that's, what is that, 8 years? Come July next year, 9 years doing this, never did I think that I would be this good at straight razor shaving and honing. And not once do I regret taking up the shaving and the honing at the same time. Oh, that's too hard. There's nothing hard about this. Now, I'm going to mention Dr. Matt again. He's got a series of videos where he uses some demonstration posters about the relationship between the spine and the apex, and how, it's just a straight line. You're making a flat plane between the spine and the edge. But when you see it and you visualize it the way he presents it, I never had a problem honing a razor. Now, I'm not a professional honer. I don't restore razors, so I'm not trying to turn razors that has significant and severe problems into shave pieces. I buy a good quality vintage razor, I buy a good quality new production razor or new old stock. I love new old stock pieces. Just wonderful lather. That's just wonderful. You know, I like doing videos, and recording of them is easy, and the little bit of editing that I do is easy enough. It's the uploading. Well, once you edit the video in iMovies, you have to save it, and that takes forever. That takes a good 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Now, I usually eat dinner when I'm saving, but it just ties up the equipment. I want to use it for other things. My iPad that is. Watch a movie on Prime, or other YouTube videos I might want to watch. And it just ties it up, and I don't like it. And then the really infuriating part is when I go to upload into YouTube the saved iTunes movie. It takes forever. Last night was 2 hours, or the night before last, 2 hours. When I get done here, I'm going to go to their little restaurant here, probably have a Subway sandwich. I ran out of food that my wife made. I ate all the food that she made for me, the 12 containers. And they're just little Rubbermaid 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Sometimes I have one, sometimes I have two, depending upon my ferocity of hunger. How hungry can I be after just sitting all day? Well, where's my light switch? No light switch on the wall. That's crazy. Maybe that's their way of telling me it's time to go. Getting ahead of the game there a little bit with Against the Grain. I could stop right there. Well-hydrated lather is a essential ingredient. Keep it hydrated. Let's wash it off and see what we got. I think I'm gonna let my head shave go tonight. I'll be home tomorrow. I'll do another shave in 48 hours, which is to say, tomorrow's Friday, Saturday morning. And I'll probably do a full grooming with haircut. Oh, sideburns first. Yeah, well, I'm pretty well convinced that this was a conical edge. The smoothness that it gave, incredible. Not one bit harsh. I know what I'll do. I'll remember that this is a conical edge because the handle is yellow. As good as any other memory trick. And I need all the memory tricks I can get. The older I get. All right, so Backal, 8/8, shoulder, Silvertip. Just a beautiful razor. Just a beautiful razor. Now I will say the slot that the edge goes down into, the blade, very narrow, so you have to be very careful to put it down in. Oh, well, that's it. I want to put on some Osma alum block, but I'll do that off camera. Thank you for staying with me. I appreciate it, and I will see you down the road.